ought we to talk about Shelby Oaks? Should we?
I mean, I've got questions.
Okay. Perhaps we could do this in the format of Mauler asking us questions about the movie.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, when we start, are we doing spoilers or?
Does anyone care?
Yeah, is there anything to really spoil?
Yeah, I think it's okay to spoil it, I think.
Okay. Were any of you scared, startled, or a little bit tense at any point?
A couple jump scares, but that's
Agreed.
it.
Yes, there were a couple jump scares.
Yeah.
There was one scene that I harped on in my review of it had reasonable tension, and it seems like that's where the entire budget went. And I was questioning if Mike Flanagan actually directed that scene, because the movie's like bipolar. You don't really like that scene is so different from the rest of the film, and it really stands out because I believe the movie's bookended by just a horrible beginning and a horrible end.
Yeah. I was talking with Cynic about this before we went live, right? If I had to describe this movie, it's like someone said to Chris Stuckmann, so what kind of horror movie do you want to make, Chris? And he said, yes. Because
Right.
it kind of feels like he's taken bits of every horror movie ever and kind of stitched them all together into one movie. And so there's little bits of everything. There's found footage. There's like crazy old lady in a cabin in the woods. There's a possessed serial killer. There's like abandoned theme parks, abandoned towns like Silent Hill. There's like an abandoned prison because it looks creepy. There's there's just all these things from every horror movie ever. There's like demonic possession. There's paranormal investigators. There's girl looking for her sister. There's childhood trauma that comes back to revisit you in later life, kind of like what Mike Flanagan does quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There's all of these things mashed together into one movie, and it's a lot. It's a lot to try and cram into one film, and it's not helped by about 80% of the movie is just the main character looking at things with a flashlight. I kid you not, like the whole second act is her looking at walls, looking at footprints, looking at carvings on trees, looking at picture books, everything without any dialogue, and just like it kind of deadens the pace of it. And I don't know. I know I'm probably getting ahead of like myself with the critiques here. I don't know. Do you want the plot for what it's
Sure,
worth?
why not?
Who wants to try?
The plot's pretty straightforward. It's takes place in Shelby Oaks, and that's an abandoned town that is being investigated by the Paranormal Paranoids, which is a YouTube channel, and they go and investigate paranormal activity. And it's being led by I already forget the character's name.
Mia. No, Riley.
No, Riley.
Riley's the sister, yeah.
Yeah, Riley, and she had been haunted throughout her life by what ends up being an incubus. And she disappears, and it's caught on film. And her sister Mia is doing it's kind of like it is a mockumentary, but there's a documentary being filmed about her going missing. And right after some filming takes place, a guy shows up on her porch and blows his brains out. And he has a tape in his hand, and she watches the tape, and it's more footage from the night that her sister disappeared. And so she basically follows a very linear path. That very evening, she actually finds her sister in a lost cabin in Shelby Oaks. And after she discovers that, she basically finds a book that there's a lot of show don't tell, but it isn't at the same time, because she finds this book that basically might as well be shouting like, read me for the plot. And her sister had been impregnated by this guy. And so there's a lot of paranormal, or the incubus rather is. Go ahead.
Yeah. Her sister had been abducted by like a cult or something, a cult composed of like two people, and kept with them, and then forcibly impregnated by like the son of the crazy old lady who lives in a cabin in Shelby Oaks, and like somehow the police never found
it somehow.
I don't understand, but like, so she was impregnated. She seemed to have only gotten pregnant like very recently, because she's been missing for like 12 years, I think. but she's just given birth to like a baby that's only like a couple of months old, from what I can tell. And then that's when her sister finds her. But she's gone crazy, and she realizes the baby is like a demon spawn or something. It's a bit like what they were trying to do in like the first Silent Hill game, where like Alyssa is going to be like a vessel for a fucking demon that this cult's been worshipping, and so they have to bring it forth into the world in a human host, that kind of thing. And then how it just gets God, the resolution.
The resolution's amazing.
She rescues her sister, right? The crazy lady cult leader just kills herself, pretty much. Mia does fuck all. She just like lies on the floor and watches it happen. Then they get rescued. She takes her sister home with the baby. Then her sister goes nuts because she knows the baby has to die, basically, to prevent this demonic entity from coming into the world. So she tries to kill it with a pillow. Mia tackles her and fucking missile kicks her out through a window.
Out the window.
I don't know what happens. Like, they're having like a bit of a tussle, and she just flies through this window like she got hit by an air ram or something. And then a bunch of demon dogs eat her.
So it's funny. I've heard this from several different reviews. Apparently it's funny.
It is. I laughed out
be.
loud. It's not supposed to be funny, but when she started getting eaten by the hellhounds, I actually cackled. It was really funny.
It's just because it comes out of nowhere, and it's just that's what I mean. Like, a normal horror movie would have one evil, one threat, one enemy that you have to like deal with. Generally, like there might be a pack of them or whatever, but they're all the same thing. This has got like the incubus. It's got the hellhounds. It's got fucking possessed cult leaders. It's got serial killers. It's got everything going on. It's like I say, it's just kind of too much to condense into one movie.
Well, it's kind of crazy you're saying it's got all of that, but simultaneously the second act is like slow and laborious.
I don't know how to describe it. Like, this stuff's all in the background, right? And it's established. Then kind of nothing happens for like the whole second act. It's just Mia following, as Cynic said, a very linear set of clues. I mean, she gets given this tape by the guy who shoots himself, and that bit actually did make me laugh. It's meant to be shocking, but it's just so goofy the way it looks. But anyway, and then you get a fucking playback of it from her perspective, like where he blows his brains out and falls in slow motion, and it reveals the actress like playing Mia just going.
And the entire time, like the entire evening after he blows his brains out, she just has blood on her face to let you know that she's experiencing trauma. Like, not once did the husband even say, like, you want to clean up? Or
that was so unbelievable. That was stupid. She sits there with the blood on her face. There were a lot of things that weren't thought through. I understand maybe why he made that choice, but it was a bad choice.
Well, it's because I could understand if like there was loads of stuff going on and she doesn't have time to go to a bathroom and clean up or whatever. But like, she's been interviewed by the police. They've all left. They've taken the body away, and she's literally sat on the couch with her husband, and he's pretty much like, "So, you okay?" And it's, "Yeah, I'm fine." And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go watch TV or something." And she's still splattered with blood. And she's got the point I was going to make, though, is like she's been given a tape by this guy who killed himself, and it's literally got Shelby Oaks stenciled onto it, which would be a pretty clear indication. Like, I guess I should just go to Shelby Oaks and my sister's probably there, or I might find clues. But instead, she goes and interviews. She finds out about this prisoner guy, or this guy who shot himself. He's done time in prison. She finds that out by speaking to the police. Then she goes to like the former prison warden, who's played by Keith David, who doesn't give a fuck about this movie, but interviews him. Then she goes to the prison to investigate that, and like runs into a hellhound, which then just doesn't do anything, and she runs away. Then eventually she goes to the cabin at Shelby Oaks. Like, it's like this really weird roundabout route that she takes to get to the place that's written on the tape.
Is there good reason for why she doesn't involve the police with any of these?
She gives a pretty stupid ass excuse because she could do the investigating anyway. She says that she doesn't want the police to conclude that the guy murdered her. The guy who blew his brains out, she doesn't want the police to conclude. She doesn't want the police to close the case. So she's going to take it upon herself, as if she still couldn't anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, that wouldn't matter. Even if they closed the case, she could still pursue it. So
right.
And there's a lot more manpower with the police being involved. And then, of course, letting the police know that she's even on the case so that someone knows what happens if she disappears, right?
Right.
And then, of course, you just mentioned a husband. Is he involved in the movie at all?
He's a complete non-entity.
Yeah.
He doesn't do
He's
anything.
there to provide the. So the reason why at the end of the film, Mia, the sister who rescued Riley, doesn't want the baby to die. She's alluded to having problems conceiving, so she's kind of have baby brain, and that's why she doesn't want the baby to die, even though it's pretty logical that it's like a evil, possessed baby.
Yeah. But yeah, the husband doesn't really. It's weird as well because she goes off on all these wacky adventures, and he just never like checks up on her or says like, "Hey, maybe I should come with you and like watch out for you or something," because this all seems pretty dangerous shit. It's a weird character, and he just kind of isn't there for any reason.
Do we see his reaction to the? Is there an aftermath in this film after the hellhounds?
No. The hellhounds eat Riley, and then the incubus like possesses Mia, and then we cut the credits and it's over.
Oh, okay. Shelby Oaks 2 then, guys.
Yeah.
Like I say, I mean, because when we're talking about this movie, right? And I was saying this to you guys earlier. There's two ways we could look at it. You could look at it as the first directing effort of a fucking YouTuber who's wanting to try his hand at filmmaking. And if I was to look at it from that point of view, I would say, yeah, he's done pretty fucking well, because I'd imagine putting together a feature film is no small task. Agree. And the directing, I think Chris Stuckmann is probably a much better director than he is a writer, because generally either that or the DP on this was really fucking good. But like the cinematography generally looks pretty good. Like it's a competently enough shot film. It's just the problem is in the script, I think. But yeah, from that point of view, like I think he's done really well. But like if I was to judge this, if I was to pretend like he's a legit filmmaker or whatever, it's not a great movie.
And
like,
I was
by any
saying
normal
too,
standard.
A lot of people are handling this with kid gloves because of the fact that he's a YouTuber, but I completely disagree. It's a wide release film. He was given a pretty reasonable budget for a horror movie in particular. I paid to see the movie. He is entitled to the exact same level of criticism I'd throw at anything that I go to the theater pay for to see.
Well, I mean, it's a bigger budget than Saw and Paranormal Activity, in their films that I think they can fight against the greats, right? They can be put in the same sort of category. It almost thinks I get what you're saying, because it's like, should Shelby Oaks not be considered the same way? I'm sure Chris would want it to be considered the same way as any given horror film, especially with Neon backing it and Mike Flanagan producing it. I would have thought.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've made films and I've had my films shit on. So, I did this comedy, a spoof comedy years ago. I co-wrote and produced, called my big fat independent movie. And it got mixed reviews, which I thought were fair. I think, I give myself a C. I say that's a fair and it's fine. But I think people were overly harsh over professional jealousy. But I mean, the movie's competent. I've seen worse films made by studios. Okay. So I agree. The weakness is the writing and the choices like logic, like going to that abandoned prison alone at night. Couldn't you go during the day? Then having an unreliable flashlight, just stupid. I mean, that is sort of a, horror film trope, characters making really bad decisions, but it wasn't, look, is this film great? Fuck no. It's not great. Is it not a piece of shit? You can quote me on the poster. Not a piece of shit. It's not shitty and competently directed. There were some moments I thought, well, the tone of this is actually decent. I did like the turn when it went from documentary found footage style into narrative. I thought that was, it's kind of clever. It's not all found footage. And then it's just a dismissible horror film I've seen 100 times and with influences from better movies. So it's kind of like, and the worst thing is Stuckmann just took no risks. It's so safe. It's a very safe, like, I like this, I like this, I like that.
I can 100% understand, because if it's your first relatively big budget feature film, right? And this is kind of what you're going to get judged on. I would say that probably is a time to play it safe and not do some crazy experimental art house thing that, 5% of people will love and the other 95% will fucking hate. So, I mean, it's understandable. I think you're 100% right in that it's, by all normal standards, it's just a forgettable, dismissible, generic horror movie for the 100%. Most part. 100%. Not terrible. It's better than Rogue Elements, so fuck it. I'll say that for it. But it's a good start for him, I think. I don't think it's not a disaster for him. I think he'll probably make money out of it as well.
I think it already broke even. I could be wrong, but the box office, it was doing okay considering its budget. Yeah.
So better than recent Marvel movies. Look, I think based on watching it, he would be a very competent TV director. TV, you do what the producers say, you make your days, get your shots done, and you move quick and fast. He could direct TV, but there is no, and I say this because I've watched his reviews, any personality to this movie. Like 0% personality. It's like getting a tattoo that is a tattoo of the word tattoo. That's how generic it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We talked about it backstage. We haven't here yet. And the fact is too, the acting isn't very good. And I think that threw a lot of people off, at least in my theater. There were only like 4 or 5 other people in my theater, but 2 of them got up and walked out. So there was within the first 30 minutes of the film. And I think it was because the acting is so off-puttingly bad. And that's kind of a director problem where he had Keith David in the film, and even in his one scene, you could tell he just didn't give a shit. And it kind of tells you that he didn't know how to direct this guy or, how to lead him. And the acting did improve for the same actress during the scene where it seemed like they had more time and more budget. So I will certainly give it that too, that cabin scene.
I think with that main actress, because she does have to carry about 90% of this movie.
She does.
When it's a low budget thing like this, I've never fucking heard of her. She's probably just like a day player or whatever. But I think she does okay in this. Like, she can emote to a degree. Like, I think, like you say, there's times when she's definitely stronger than others, and it might be that, by that point she's settled into the role a bit more. Or, as you might have suggested, like maybe Flanagan was directing her a little bit and he stepped in to help out. Not sure. But she's not terrible. But yeah, Keith David, he was a bit of a wasted talent in this. I honestly got the impression that he just showed up for the day. It's like, right, I'll film this one scene, get my paycheck, and off I go. And I don't think he was probably given the script until about 5 minutes before they rolled.
He did it as a favor or something.
It could be. It could be. I mean, Keith David's a great actor, and he's always entertaining to see on screen. Yeah. But it's like he was probably just told, deliver these lines with some gravitas and just do your standard Keith David thing. That's what he did.